It was the night before Christmas, 1998. This had been a hard year. I had separated from my husband, left my children, and moved into York, and it was my first Christmas in my own apartment. I had invited my family to come for Christmas dinner and to have our Christmas Eve service together. I was scared to death. I was frightened. I knew that I could not deliver Christmas the way that I have always delivered Christmas to my family. There was no money. There was just no energy. I was sort of on the depressed side. I didn't know what I was going to do and how I was going to pull this off. Well, I got dressed and I got ready and I was going into the kitchen to check on my dinner. The table was set and all of that, and the phone rang. Hello? Hey, Mom, it's Lethea. What's wrong? Oh, nothing's wrong. Dad just said for me to call you and tell you we're going to be late. We're going to pick up Michael now, so we'll be there soon. Hey, thank you. Love you. Love you, Mom. Yeah. So I go back and I look and everything's sorted together in the kitchen. There's nothing I really need to do, but I turn down the oven so I don't burn dinner. And I go into the living room, and it doesn't look quite the way my living room has looked for Christmas in the past. The tree is there, and I'd use that red curly ribbon. You know, you use the scissor to pull it out to create the curls, and that was all the color on the tree, and there were candy canes hanging. And if you looked not too closely, you would see that the tree was actually tied to the wall because it was so crooked that the only way it would stand up straight is if I tied it to the wall. And I had the mantle was decorated with candles, and I had the stockings hung. And that was what I could do. There was a few presents under the tree, but not much. And I sat down and I thought, oh, my kids are going to be so disappointed in me. They're going to be so sad when they see this. And I was worried. And then the knock came on the door, and my family had arrived. Now, have you ever gone into a room where there's a litter of new puppies, and the puppies are like all over the place, all excited, and they're wiggling, and everybody wants your attention at one time, and they're barking, and that's what it was like when my kids came into my house. When they were young, they just was like a mob scene when they'd come in. Hi, Mom, how are you? Merry Christmas, here's my coat, this is that, this is your present, are you going to open, when's dinner, what are we going to have? Just constant going on. And it's like I got them all in the door, and it's like, Isaac, take the coats and throw them on my bed, and Lethea, take your father to the front room and find him a seat. They all headed to the front room, and I breathed. Okay, they're here. This is it. I go into the room, and it had changed magically. The addition of 4 children in a room completely changed the flavor of the room. The excitement was there. The energy was there. All those things that I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to deliver were there in that room then. And they wanted to open their presents. No, we're not opening the presents yet, because I knew that not long after they opened the presents, they would be ready to leave. So, no, we're not opening the presents yet. We'll do that after dinner. But you can open your stockings. Now, there is a rule among mothers especially that you have to buy your children underwear at Christmas because it gives them more things to open, you know. So, well, the stockings were stuffed with socks and with walnuts and with oranges. And my kids pulled their stockings down, and my one daughter's going through, socks? Just socks? This is only socks. And another one, oh, I found an orange. Oh, walnuts, you know. And my son began cracking the walnuts on his head along with his father to prove just how masculine they really were. And my one daughter was bouncing back and forth between her father's lap and the tree, trying to see what else was other on the floor. And my one daughter, who could talk to her brick wall and have a wonderful conversation, was just talking about everything she was going to do over the holidays and what she wanted to get and her friends, and just going on and on and on. And my other daughter, who is a little more reserved, was sort of sitting back in the dark, you know, just sort of watching. And she had that look on her face that I could identify as that look that was on my face an hour before, like, okay, what's going to be happening here and what's going to go on? Well, we had a wonderful dinner. ham and green beans and macaroni and cheese and sliced cranberry sauce and, of course, rolls. I used to make rolls, and I found my kids preferred the Pillsbury crescent rolls more than the ones I spent hours making. So we had our crescent rolls. And at the end of the night, I was looking, trying to take in everything in that room for my children, and just so I could store it up for my memories in the future. And I looked at all my kids, and back in the corner was my daughter, Michael. And she had taken off her shoes and her dad's old Argyle socks. And she'd pulled on a pair of those new socks and sighed and smiled. And that spirit of Christmas, that spirit of giving, all of that I'd been afraid I couldn't deliver was delivered in that moment. And it was a Merry Christmas for all, and it was a good night.